Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Crimson Pharaoh. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be doing a top 10 LD Net 4 list. So there's, I tried to just cut it up evenly, 5 light 4 stars and then 5 dark 4 stars. This is a pre-recorded video. This should be up on Thursday. Hopefully I'll be getting hammered. I don't think you can call it day drinking unless you start at 8 in the morning, so I'm at a wedding this weekend. If you guys have been, I don't just do that recreationally. I'll be at a wedding for the weekend, so I'm hoping to have a good time there. But yeah, let's jump right into this. We'll just go in whatever order. It's not like 10 to number 1. There is one unit that I think is 1 or 2 units that I think are stand out among the rest, and I'll say those at the end. So what did I start with here? Iona. I think she's not really heard of anymore, but she does get 15% or an extra 15 base speed here when awakened. This skill revives an ally and increases the ally's defense for 3 turns. This recovers everyone's health, and then this one does whatever. You can get this down to a 5-turn deal. She's fine on violent. She's really fine on anything. She's just a support unit. Does 0 debuffs, doesn't need accuracy, just needs a bunch of resistance, speed, defense, and you're good to go, and HP. Really a very simple unit. Better in guild content because there's only 2 other units then in the team, and she's going to be keeping them alive and revived and whatever else. So pretty strong there. Next I would go with probably Helphus here. Helphus is very, very good. Obviously he gets the invincibility when you drop his health below 50%, and then he gets life back from the your team basically if you proc his passive. The skill does AoE damage, recovers 50% of the inflicted damage, and absorbs enemy's attack bar by 15% with a 25% chance, and then the skill just hits a bunch. So he's pretty good on, again, kind of whatever you want to put him on. I don't think it really matters. He's got a great arena leader skill here. He's a good unit. We can't see him at 6 stars, unfortunately, but a little bit low on the speed, but I'm sure his stats are fine. Gemini is a Hall of Heroes, but is just way too strong. Global speed lead skill here. This makes it so that literally half this passive doesn't even do anything. Increases the damage by 100% if your HP ratio is lower than the target's enemy's HP ratio. You're doubling 0 damage. He's not going to be doing any damage for your team, so you're just doubling nothing. But he is going to AoE strip and defense break, and he is going to be getting extra turns. So he's good on Swift to get the first turn. He's also good on Despair if you want to. It just depends on what team you're putting him in. And pretty nice base speed as well. Or at least average, a little higher than average. So then Iris is next, ridiculously strong, also a stripper, does AoE on skill 1, does triple hit on skill 2, and recovers the ally with the lowest HP by 15% when you attack on your turn. But yeah, just a bunch of stripping. There's nothing in the game that you should have on her other than Despair Revenge. There is not an acceptable set. If you don't have Despair Revenge for her, do not build her. It doesn't even make sense to. She's so insanely good on Despair Revenge that you might as well just build a different unit if you don't have the runes for it yet. Another one is Molly. She's obviously just completely disgusting. Awakens into resistance, increases the chances of allies receiving a glancing hit by 15%, and recovers the HP of the ally with the worst HP status by 20%. This skill cleanses the ally and puts a shield up, and this skill removes beneficial effects. Does damage based on max HP. You can try to put a little damage on Molly, but the important thing is that she stays alive, so she needs to be super tanky, because her passive is what makes her completely ridiculous. Totally screws up any cleave team idea that someone had. So so far we have Iona, Helphus, Gemini, Iris, and Molly. So I think we're safe to move over to the dark side now. Again, there are honorable mentions at the end. I know there's a couple units that people might think should be on the list, and maybe they should be. This is just my list. So we're going to throw Frigate into here. He awakens into this third skill, which increases attack bar by 50%, the highest attack bar boost in the game, all allies. This skill attacks 3 random targets with a 100% chance to stun when skilled up. This has a 100% chance to defense break when skilled up. A great base speed too. 108 is very, very solid to work with. And then we have, there's a couple of things I could throw in here. I think Liebly probably. So really Liebly is really just good in a bomb team. He does some counterattack damage too, which is cool, but really he's just a bomber. But they're rare. It's hard to find a good bomber, or a usable one, because there's just so few of them. So if you put him with Ciara, it's pretty fun. Yeah, he's just a good bomb unit. It really is all there. Another one I would say is probably Faye here. Arena leader skill 24%. This skill ignores the target's defense with a 25% chance. It does hit 4 times. This skill can remove beneficial effects, block beneficial effects, attacks twice. This skill breaks defense, can activate this. This skill, when on cooldown, can make you counterattack with this, and then this can get counterattacked into this, I think. So she just does a lot of damage and has a good leader skill, really. Okay, so that's 3 of them. I had the list made before, but now I'm wondering if I should change my mind about something. Okay, we're gonna throw in Martina. She's obviously a top 10 unit. It's just that last one that there are things getting switched around in my head now. She can steal beneficial effects based on her passive, so if you put her in a team with Shayna and she AoE attacks, you can AoE strip the enemies and then stun everything, because this skill gets added onto all of Shayna's skills or any other dancer that you put her with. And it's a pretty cool leader skill. She's great in guild battles. She's, completely disgusting in guild battles. Like, you see the Martina, Shayna, Triana teams. Anything that negates death, really. You could put Huadam in there and troll people like that too. Triana's just a little easier to get. But yeah, she's great, really, for the AoE strip, but she does good damage too. The fifth one in here is like the one I'm having a hard time with deciding. I think I pretty much have to go with Beta over here. But there are some other good ones in here too. So she's great, gets 15%, or not 15%, she gets flat 15 attack speed when she's awakened, so 110 there is good. Recovers the HP of all allies by 15% each, and decreases their chance of receiving a critical hit for 2 turns, and grants them immunity. So a lot in that skill. Basically heals allies, makes it really hard to kill allies. Recovers the ally target's HP and attack bar by 30% each. If the skill is used on a dead ally, the ally will be revived with 30% HP and 30% attack bar, but adds 3 turns of cooldown time. So she is the only unit in the game that I can think of that has a skill 2 revive. So it's kind of hard to not put her in a top 10 list, because she's very tanky as well, has good base speed. And then this skill, once again removes beneficial effects. So just a lot of like keeping your team alive here on Beta. This is on a 5-turn cooldown. This is on a 3-turn cooldown, so you can revive every 3 turns, I guess, in theory. But yeah, some honorable mentions though. Stuff that maybe should have been on the list. You guys can tell me what you think should be switched in and out. But Huadam pretty obviously is an honorable mention. The negates death. This skill is great on Despair. Attacks all enemies, twice, decreasing their attack bar. This skill can attack bar break and glancing hit. The leader skills, whatever. Other stuff here. I want to know what this one does. So I think this one's just another bomber. Yeah, Dover. Dover's just a bomber. Dover's a decent bomber though. Him and Liebly are both pretty cool. Ludo, not Ludo. I keep calling him Ludo. Tablo. Great arena leader skill. Makes the attack bar of all enemies and all allies change to 0. Increases the attack speed of all other allies except for yourself for 1 turn and stuns yourself. So this can't be resisted ever. Everything in the team, on your team and the enemy team, will change their attack bar to 0 and increases your attack speed. So there's a decent chance that he will then come back and get the first turn. That's likely what you're using him for, is for a first turn deal. Rolls 2 dice to attack all enemies and stuns them for 1 turn if the sum of the numbers is greater than 7, and decreases the attack speed for 2 turns if the sum is less than 7. Then instantly gains another turn if you get the same number. So RNG involved in this unit. That's why I didn't put him on the top 10 list, because there's so much RNG that it might not go the way you want it to. But then again, it might go the way you want it to, because you could do this and just get flat out outsped again if the enemy team already has an attack speed buff on them. If they went first, you could just get outsped again. So there's some RNG there with him involved. Belita, the dark one here, is great. She's just good for really guild siege with like Sabrina. She can be pretty strong. Fanaka's actually cool. No one ever really talks about him, but the passive, when you are turned into a statue, increases the skill cooldown time of the target that attacks you by 2 turns. The cooldown time can be increased over the max cooldown time for the monsters, excluding the bosses. Inflicts damage on all enemies in proportion to your defense and provokes them for 1 turn with an 80% chance, 100% chance when it skilled up. Each awakens, or afterwards, you will be turned into a stone statue. So he provokes, and then he makes you hit him so that your skill cooldown time goes up. So he can actually be used against stuff like Pernas, but really he can be used against anything. And it's kind of cool. I wish I had one farmed up on like every account. It'd be cool if they did something where new players could pick 5 Hall of Heroes, and they had like 1 month from starting their account to farm however far they can get. Because he'd be one of my picks. It'd be him, Gemini, and a few other things, but he's a very cool unit. Over here, the Dark Sylph has a leader skill. This shrouds all enemies with night and puts them to sleep for 2 turns and prevents them from receiving beneficial effects for 2 turns. So very, very strong there. This decreases the enemy attack bar to 0, increases your attack bar by 50%, and then this is just a skill that hits stuff. Bethany is cool. Bethany does ignore defense damage here and can just be pretty strong in like Rift Beasts and stuff. She's good there. This one, again, another Hall of Heroes unit, but very strong. Has 2 AoEs. Of course, you have to trigger the skill here to go off, but it's an AoE. Just a great cleaver for arena. Duat we just had, he's a great unit, and yeah, so anyway, if there's something you disagreed with about the list, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I assume it's going to be Huadam and Tablo that people are telling me that, you should have put this one in or whatever, but anyway, that's all of it for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see everybody next time.